Just a couple points I want to make to wrap this up. No matter what we do here today or do in the future on any other redistricting, which I don't think will ever happen, voters are going to have the final say on this. Virginia voters will get to decide whether they give us the authority. We ain't going to do nothing without their permission. There's going to be a very robust debate about this. So keep that in mind. And all this talk about we're going to go further and further and further, abolish the commission, it's nonsense. I haven't heard a single person talk about that. And I don't think there's anywhere close to the votes, even on this side, to have a conversation about getting rid of the commission permanently. I heard some talk about where Virginia is in terms of its results and the fact the presidential election was 54-46, or Madam President, the election we just had that you were involved in, I think, was 57-42. Just want to note for the record, by the way, that if you remove the 9th congressional district from those results, if you take that one out and you look at just the remaining results from that gubernatorial election, by my math, the election was 60-40 Democratic in the remaining 10 congressional districts. So if you want to talk about, do the math. I'll show it to you. I have it here in my spreadsheet. But the remainder of the state, if you carve out the 9th, was 60-40, 60-40. Now, the reality also is that elections are under assault in this country. We just heard yesterday, President Trump suggested that we just not have elections in 2026. Did I hear a single person on the other side say a word about it? Or is it just more, we're just going to tolerate a president who constantly questions our democracy? We have an administration right now that is demanding our voter list. Why does he want to see Virginia's voter list? What is he up to? Why has the United States Postal Service decided that they're not going to guarantee postmarking ballots anymore, when hundreds of thousands of Virginians have now elected to cast their votes by mail? Why has the Department of Justice suggested, and why has this president suggested that that taking ballots, receiving ballots that are postmarked before the election and counting them after the election, which we authorized 5 years ago in this General Assembly, why is he suggesting that's illegal? Because he's threatening democracy. Have not heard a single peep out of the other side about the attacks on our systems of elections in Virginia, trying to mess with our elections here by the federal government, which is a power, by the way, that's expressly reserved to our General Assembly. We decide how our elections are conducted, and we decide who gets to vote in this state. The Constitution was deliberately designed that way, and it was also deliberately designed, by the way, that the federal government not control the elections so that some imperial tyrant couldn't cancel them. Stand up for once. Stand up for democracy, for God's sakes. And that's what this is about. This is about ensuring that we have a system of government that is actually democratic past what this current president. And the citizens of Virginia are going to hear these arguments, and they're going to have a chance to listen and decide who's right. And I guarantee you, they're going to want to believe that they have a fighting chance to be heard equally at the federal level. All of us should be troubled by the necessity of what we're doing today, because it reflects a disturbing trend in our politics where power takes precedence over principle. Our responsibility is not to pretend that that trend doesn't exist. Our responsibility is to protect the Commonwealth of Virginia from its consequences. That's why we need to vote for this resolution. I hope there's some principle left on all sides of this room, and I hope we can see more than a partisan vote on this. Thank you, Madam President.